Hollywood cannot believe what just dropped on Netflix because Sean Diddy Combs' The Reckoning isn't just another celebrity documentary. This one is detonating across the entire industry. Actors, musicians, influencers, and former collaborators are scrambling to respond as years of rumors, accusations, and behind-the-scenes chaos finally explode into the mainstream. Some are calling it career-ending, some say it's a witch hunt, and others are stunned the documentary even made it to air. But the wildest part is that the reactions coming out of Hollywood right now are messier, louder, and more suspicious than anything in the documentary itself. Let's break down the biggest reactions, the ones everyone is whispering about, and what this could mean for Diddy's future if he even has one left. And before we dive in, help me hit my goal of 500 subscribers. Every sub genuinely helps the channel. The moment The Reckoning drops, Hollywood went into full-blown panic mode. Within hours, timelines were flooded with cryptic posts, quiet unfollows, deleted tweets, and PR teams scrambling behind the scenes. Major producers who once praised Diddy suddenly went silent. Artists who built their early careers around Bad Boy refused to comment. And insiders started leaking that multiple studios had been preparing for this moment for months, knowing the documentary would reignite allegations that many in the industry hoped would stay buried. What's blowing people away isn't just what the documentary exposes, it's how fast Hollywood distanced itself. Almost like everyone was bracing for a fallout they already knew was coming. And trust me, the reactions only get stranger from here. As the documentary gained momentum, a wave of celebrities who had stayed quiet for years suddenly felt pressured to speak up. Some posted vague statements about accountability and long overdue truths without daring to mention Diddy by name. Others, especially those who once partied with him or collaborated behind the scenes, made carefully worded comments that sounded more like legal disclaimers than genuine reactions. A few even began scrubbing old photos with Diddy from their feeds, something fans caught instantly. And then there were the bold ones, insiders who claimed they'd been warning the industry for years. Whether they're being honest or simply trying to distance themselves, Hollywood's sudden flood of statements is making people ask the same question: who actually knew what and for how long? What's shocking people the most is how fast Diddy's inner circle has collapsed. Individuals who were once photographed at his parties, flown out on private jets, or featured in his projects are now backing away like the ship is sinking. Some former associates are quietly unfollowing him, while others are distancing themselves through sources who claim they had no idea about anything shown in the documentary. A few producers who once praised Diddy's influence are now calling him a cautionary tale, pretending they were never close at all. It feels less like loyalty fading and more like everyone scrambling to protect their own image before the spotlight turns on them next. And the list of people abandoning him gets even crazier when you see who speaks out next. Behind closed doors, industry insiders are saying the documentary only scratched the surface. Executives, managers, and longtime industry veterans are quietly admitting that these rumors have circulated for decades, just never this publicly. Some claim they heard stories about wild parties, aggressive behavior, and uncomfortable situations involving young artists, but nobody wanted to challenge someone with Diddy's level of power. Others insist they tried speaking up years ago, but were shut down by people higher up who wanted to protect the brand, the money, and the connections. Now those same insiders are rushing to reshape their narratives, acting like they were warning people all along. Hollywood is suddenly full of "I always knew something was off" comments, but nobody seems eager to admit why they stayed silent. And if insiders are finally talking, wait until you hear how the artists themselves are reacting.
As the documentary spreads, artists who once worked with Diddy or were influenced by him are stepping forward with their own stories, reactions, and shock. Some younger artists say they grew up idolizing Diddy and feel betrayed by what the documentary reveals. Meanwhile, older artists from the Bad Boy era are giving interviews hinting that the culture behind the label was not what fans believed. A few even mentioned they felt pressured, manipulated, or strategically sidelined during their careers, but never had the platform to speak on it. Now that the documentary has opened the floodgates, more artists are joining the conversation, and fans are starting to connect dots that were ignored for years. Whether these artists are being fully honest or simply taking the opportunity to rewrite history, the reactions are adding fuel to an already raging fire. But as artists talk, the public's reaction might be the most explosive part yet.
If Hollywood was shaken, the public was absolutely set on fire. Social media turned into a battleground overnight, with millions of viewers dissecting every scene, every accusation, and every old clip of Diddy that suddenly hits very differently. Some people are demanding investigations, arrests, and accountability, arguing that the documentary confirms years of suspicion. Others believe Netflix exaggerated the story for views, calling it a hit piece, timed for maximum chaos. TikTok detectives are pulling up old interviews, body language clips, and leaked audio, stitching together timelines that have fans convinced there's far more still hidden. The comment sections on Diddy's old music videos have been flooded with backlash, while hashtags calling for justice and boycotts continue to trend. No matter which side people fall on, one thing is undeniable: the public is louder, angrier, and more divided than ever. And this public pressure is creating a domino effect Hollywood wasn't prepared for.
As public pressure intensified, brands and sponsors connected to Diddy started scrambling behind the scenes. Companies that once proudly aligned themselves with his name began quietly pulling partnerships, pausing campaigns, or removing old promotional content featuring him. A few brands issued vague statements about reviewing their relationships, while others didn't say a word. They just deleted everything and moved on. Even organizations that had previously honored Diddy with awards or business deals are now acting like the association never existed. Industry analysts say this rapid distancing isn't just about optics, it's about protecting corporate reputations before they get dragged into the storm. And the swiftness of these moves makes people wonder if these brands knew more than they ever let on. But the fallout doesn't stop there, because now the legal world is stepping in.
As the documentary gained momentum, legal analysts began dissecting every allegation, every claim, and every timeline presented on screen. Some attorneys believe the exposure could trigger new investigations or reopen old ones that were previously dismissed or ignored. Others say the documentary raises more questions than answers, especially regarding who enabled what and for how long. A few lawyers even pointed out that the public responses from celebrities and brands might be strategic damage control designed to avoid future subpoenas. Meanwhile, legal forums online are buzzing with speculation about possible civil suits, contract disputes, and whether prosecutors will feel pressured to take action given the public spotlight. The legal conversation surrounding the reckoning is evolving fast, and it's making both Hollywood insiders and fans wonder if the documentary will end up being the catalyst for something much bigger. And all this legal pressure puts Diddy himself in a position he's rarely faced, one he might not be able to talk his way out of.
When the documentary dropped, everyone waited to see how Diddy would respond, and what he did only added more confusion. Instead of a clear statement, his team released carefully crafted messages that sounded defensive but avoided addressing the heaviest accusations directly. Then came the social media activity, vague posts about truth, cryptic quotes about resilience, and comments that looked more like damage control than genuine transparency. At one point, insiders claimed he was preparing a full public rebuttal, but it never came. Others said he was advised to stay silent to avoid legal consequences, and fans noticed how certain celebrities who once defended him suddenly stopped interacting with his posts altogether. Diddy's scattered, inconsistent response has left the public wondering whether he's planning a comeback or bracing for something far worse behind the scenes. And with the world watching, the final question is, what happens next? And who goes down with him?
With the documentary still spreading and reactions pouring in from every corner of the industry, one thing is becoming painfully clear. Diddy's legacy will never look the same again. For decades, he was seen as a visionary, a mogul who shaped hip-hop, built empires, and created culture-defining moments. But now, every achievement is being re-examined under a much darker lens. Hollywood insiders say reputations don't survive this level of scrutiny, especially when the public is demanding answers. Younger audiences discovering the allegations for the first time are questioning why no one spoke up sooner. Older fans are conflicted, torn between nostalgia and the disturbing claims now in front of them. Whether the legal system steps in or not, the cultural verdict is already shifting. And for the first time in his career, Diddy isn't the one controlling the narrative. The world is. Before we wrap up, help me hit my goal of 500 subscribers. Every single one truly helps the channel grow. And trust me, this story is far from over.
At this point, The Reckoning hasn't just exposed allegations, it's exposed Hollywood itself. The silence, the distancing, the sudden statements, the legal commentary, the brand withdrawals, it all paints a picture of an industry that knew far more than it ever admitted. Whether Diddy faces real consequences or not, the documentary has already changed the conversation forever. Fans are demanding transparency, celebrities are scrambling to protect their images, and studios are now being forced to reckon with the culture they helped create. This isn't just a celebrity scandal. It's a moment that could redefine how the entertainment world handles power, influence, and accountability in the future. But one thing's for sure, the reactions we're seeing now are only the beginning. This documentary lit the fuse, and Hollywood is still bracing for the explosion. If you enjoyed this breakdown, help me hit my goal of 500 subscribers. Every single sub genuinely supports the channel. Thanks for watching, and stay tuned.